Hello, guys. Yeah, mic is working. Yeah, hello, guys. Yeah, today we're gonna have a quick stream, just covering what's going on in the markets, a quick overview of what's happening in the market. And Bulsito, hello, Bulsito, how you doing? Man, do you think Pulsechain will launch around BTC halving 2024? I think that's a little bit too late. I think Pulsechain will be launched before that. I would expect, in my own estimations, right, worst case scenario is Pulsechain launches late, possibly Q1 next year, right? So that would be sometime 2023. But I do think that there's still massive opportunity for Pulsechain to launch this year. Now, in the last stream we had, I think the what I thought was the best prediction was the Hex anniversary. That's sometime in November this year, so which is a good time to launch. So yeah, there's that. So they talked about security. I mean, it will take lots of time. Let's see. They talk about security. Yeah, well, I suppose, like, obviously, currently, right now, the development of Pulse Chain seems is a little bit kind of like a black box, right? We don't know exactly what's going on, where it is, and all that. But for judging from testnet, I do think that it's working pretty well. And yeah, since it's a fork of Ethereum, security should be. I'm sure there's some fixes that need to be done, and there's obviously all that dotting your I's and all that stuff. But yeah, I think most of the work is done. I mean, there haven't been any major vulnerabilities found on testnet. Testnet has been working perfectly for some time now. In my opinion, I don't think that it's a tech thing. I think it's a it's a market timing thing. So that's what I think. Yeah, I know Dev Kyle. Yeah, I said that. Look, yeah, I understand that. I understand that. So I mean, if it's a tech thing, then the huge issue with that is that the thing with tech is that you there's no way of knowing, right? If it's a tech thing, then that means it could take a really long time. That means your question about 2024 could be that, right? Yeah, it could be 2024 if it's a tech thing, but I don't think it's a tech thing. I think it's mostly a market timing thing. That's what I think. He said it's most likely BSC fork, not much of an ETH fork. Yeah, and BSC is working well, but it has had some problems as well. When do you think bear market will end? Yeah, obviously, according to the 4-year cycle, we're supposed to end. It's supposed to end this year. But the fact that if the bear market ends doesn't mean that we're going into full-on bull market, right? The bear market could end, but we could still see. Yeah, it's okay. We still see maybe some sideways action, not that great price performance. Yeah, so. But I do think this year. Now, there is an issue of the Federal Reserve and the fact that globally, reserve banks are increasing interest rates in order to fight off inflation. And I expect that to start to come to an end pretty soon, right? Because if you take a look at the Federal Reserve in the US, for example, they haven't really faced much resistance. And now people are starting to say, okay, guys, I think this is enough now. We don't need to keep jacking up the interest rates. And I think when that turns, that's a good sign for the markets. And already in regards to our own crypto cycles, I think we're at a very good place right now. So I think the bear market ending, I think it's sooner rather than later. Bear markets are terrible. Yeah, bear markets are terrible, but they are good, right? Which leads me to, there is a thread that I want to share here. That was by Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, right? And I think it's very important, some of the stuff that he's talking about here, because bear markets are bad, but bear markets is the opportunity, right? That's the opportunity that's the biggest opportunity in crypto. Bear markets, the opportunity you get once the markets are not bearish anymore, that it changes the game. It means the opportunity is gone. Right? Let's check out this thread. But the psychology of a resilient, I don't know what this is. Financial markets, there's temptation to quit when others are fearful and join when others are exuberant, bandwagon. But ironically, one should do the exact opposite. You want to buy low, sell high, literally and figuratively. Look for winners before it's obvious to everyone. If the upside has already been priced in, you're too late. Now, this statement here is important, especially for like for ex investors, right? Because it's a winner, but it didn't seem so obvious for everyone, and that's where the opportunity is. And also looking at the bear market, that's the exact time to get into crypto. I mean, if you look historically, when you're looking at the stock market, the dot-com crash, that was the best time to buy Amazon stock and hodl it until you would have made lots and lots of of money, right? So you need to make contrarian bets to win. If you join something once it has become obvious to everyone, there's a lot less upside on the table, or at least you'll have to wait longer to realize it. Now this tells you something. What's obvious right now? Bitcoin is obvious, right? Ethereum is an obvious bet. But getting into something when it's not so obvious and you know it's a winner, I think that's the best time to get in. So why do why do people consistently get this wrong? The reason is evolutionary psychology works against us here. By becoming aware of these limitations that you're hardwired into the human brain, we can compartmentalize them and begin to think more rationally. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think rational thinking is not so rational in most cases. So I think like some of the things, for example, like buying low and selling high, I think this is kind of a little bit of an uncommon knowledge that I think some people is just in their best interest to just buy high and sell low. That's what I'm starting to believe right now, right? Because if you take a look at, people complain a lot about Richard Hart's outrage marketing, but most people don't talk about does it work or does it not work? Because if it works, it's good. Now it might offend some people, all the outrage marketing, but does it work is the most important question that I think people should answer. And if the answer is yes, it works, then definitely it's something to get into. Now, here are parts of the human brain: flight response, and yeah, like I think if you understand a little bit of human psychology, I think it's helpful in understanding markets, in understanding which opportunities you want to jump in the crypto space. Very important. Jamin, hello Jamin, how are you doing? Uh, P4, how to get into Passport. Passport had a sacrifice. I think the sacrifice phase is gone, and there are some NFTs that they released for some of their games. So I think they're all sold out. I don't know if you can still get them on the market. Now, what I do like about Passport is the fact that they said that they'll probably launch on Binance Smart Chain, right? Because obviously they say we wanted to launch first on Pulsechain, but the fact that look, Pulsechain is taking longer than everyone had anticipated, so they're now thinking about launching on Binance Smart Chain first. In launching on BSC. Okay. Bulsito is okay. I think I missed some here. I think I went too far. Bear market. How to get into Pulseport. Is it impossible to know future? Speculation is a must. Absolutely impossible to know the future. Is 3 cents the bottom for Hex? Yeah, look, Richard Hart said that he expects Bitcoin to go to 11K, right? Or maybe there's some people are estimating 14K. And if we do get those numbers, that means that definitely 3 cents is not the bottom. Because if Bitcoin is dropping to 11K, we're going to see that means X has a little bit more to go. But if you ask me, I think getting in right now is a good time. I think there is a slight possibility that the bottom could. Well, look, I think will we get lower prices on Hex? I think possibly 3 cents is possible. Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think that you shouldn't have any. Are you buying Hedron and Hex on ETHW? Right now, ETHW is another interesting phenomenon, right, that I've been looking into for the past few days, and for several reasons, right? One of the reasons to look at ETHW is that ETHW did exactly what we want, what Pulsechain, what Pulsechain is meant to do in their own way. And I'm starting to see a little bit of the volume start to grow a little bit in regards to ETHW. And you can start to see some of the valuations of the different ERC20 tokens. So it's a good insight to look at and see, okay, what will happen with Pulsechain when launch? And do I believe in ETHW? I think that ETHW is crucial because we do need a proof of work blockchain, right? I mean, Ethereum right now as it is, right? is not as decentralized as Ethereum using proof of work. And not only that, right? Proof of stake, it means it's validated by how many coins you have. That's how transactions are processed on the blockchain, right? In proof of work. I'm sorry, in proof of stake. And one of the biggest problems is that the biggest validators is Coinbase, Binance, Kraken. And now we are hearing of these big banks in the traditional ecosystem wanting to be Ethereum validators. So it's not as decentralized. And now that when you have these are the validators of the blockchain, they can be told to censor transactions in their own jurisdictions, right? Coinbase is a company that has the headquarters that is based, and they can be told by regulators to do this and that, and they can't say no. So one of the key parts of aspects of crypto is censorship resistance. And does the fact that Ethereum has moved to proof of stake make it less censorship resistant? I think it does. That creates a demand for at least some kind of a proof of work blockchain. So Ethereum proof of work maybe has a chance, in my view, but it's one of those. It's a huge gamble, right? In most cases, folks don't do that well. So there's a chance that Ethereum proof of work won't do that well. So if we take a look at what's going on, what action is going on, right? We've got $4.3 million. That's the 24-hour volume on the blockchain. These are on-chain transactions, on-chain exchanges, and all that stuff. Last week, when I on Saturday, I think I had a live stream on Sunday, right? And it was 2.5 million. So the volume has doubled. Now, here's what we see now. Ethereum proof of work, there are some coins that have value, like Uniswap. Unitoken on proof of work has value. ETHW, I don't know which one this is. Flocky has value there. Hex is one of the biggest players. If you look at Hex right now, Hex has liquidity of 53,000, and Hex has volume of 250,000 on Ethereum proof of work. So people are trading this massively. This is one pair. This is Hex and ETH proof of work pair. There's also a Hex USDC pair. There's also a Hex Hedron pair. So this blockchain seems to be, of course, 4.3 million, still small compared to the amount of economic activity on Ethereum. It's still very small, but it does have a significant amount. Okay, Jesse James. Thank you, Jesse, for the super chat. Your laugh reminds me of a guy on a James Bond movie. Keep up the good work. Thank you, James, on James Bond. So that's really cool. I'm like James Bond. Yeah, that's really cool. So I do think Ethereum proof of work has a future. I think it does have a future, but it's still a gamble. Like, as in, what I do like most about Ethereum proof of work is some of the values of proof of work, some of the values of decentralization, some of that. But in terms of making money, I don't know if it's the best play to make money from. I don't know. I think that in most probably coins that are built on top of Pulsechain ecosystem will do a lot better than Ethereum proof of work. One of the biggest problems, and Richard Hart always spoke about this, that a lot of these projects do, is that they give away free coins, right? Ethereum proof of work, they give away free coins, and what that means is that who are the whales in Ethereum proof of work? It's the whales in Ethereum. And a lot of the whales in Ethereum hate Ethereum proof of work, right? Vitalik, I think, is about 300,000 ETH. That means it's got about 300,000 Ethereum proof of work, right? Now, the dollar value of that right now is $3 million. But he's not going to dump that. What he's going to do is, if the Ethereum proof of work ecosystem starts to flourish, then he will dump those coins. So I think these blockchains that fork platforms should not do that. What they should do instead is just don't give people the native token free. Don't do that. The same way, in the way in which Pulsechain, Richard Hart said that if you want peerless tokens, you have to sacrifice for them. It's better than giving free coins to people who don't value the ecosystem. Pulsepot launching on BNB today. Well, it's launching today. I haven't been looking that much into it, but Pulsepot is launching on BNB today. This is awesome. I definitely will start reading up on that soon after I finish the stream. Do you think Pulse X will do 1,000x? Yeah, I think so. I think it. I don't know if it will or if it won't, but I think it's highly likely that it will. Hex on ETH proof of work can still do good, but that Ethereum fair is dead though. Yeah, Ethereum fair. Another thing about Ethereum fair is I actually didn't know about it, and I don't know the purpose for its existence. Right? Is it just a money grab or what? I haven't really looked into it, but it's not that exciting for me yet too. And there isn't that much volume on Ethereum fair as well, right? So yeah, we're live. Yeah. And again, thank you very much, Jesse James. Thank you very much, Jesse James. Will the ETH proof of work 100x? Yeah, I think it can 100x. I think it can 100x. 100x would be from, it's about $10 right now. That would be $1,000. It's difficult, right? I mean, if you look at what happened with all these other coins, Bitcoin Cash and all that, they had a lots and lots of hope before, right? And all of that is they are just, and it's a fork of Bitcoin, and it had lots of hope. People thought that it was going to be the next thing that's going to pump like crazy, and it didn't. In fact, the price performance was really bad. So because of that, I mean, I think the negative externalities, giving people free coins who don't like your project, I don't think that's a good idea. So it's possible for us to get those numbers on Ethereum proof of work, but in my view, I think it's unlikely. I think it's unlikely. But I do like the ecosystem, though. I do like the ecosystem. PulseX is going to explode. PulseX is the design is great, but the tokenomics is that's the golden goose, as it were. That's the real moneymaker. Pulse for PulseX. And I think that, look, the way that we are moving in the crypto space, I think is, at least in the next bull run, that's where the most action will be. And that's, in my view, the last chance to make real good money in the crypto space for most people. And it's going to get more and more complex to make money over time. And right now, it's actually very complex to make money. And because there's all sorts of things that are, all sorts of designs in the crypto space that are designed for one thing, to make sure that you don't make money. And the people that make money the most are the people who have massive amounts of capital to deploy, and possibly the top dogs in the crypto space. Those are the ones that make the most money. And so people should use this opportunity, because once the bull run we're getting into, regulatory clarity is coming, whether we like it or not. And so I think it's very important for people to do not miss this opportunity. Like we're talking about the thread that Brian Armstrong put up on Twitter, that, look, you need to spot opportunities that others don't spot. And also, once everyone knows it's an opportunity, it's gone. Will Dogechain end of here? Will Dogechain explain? Yeah, Dogechain, it's still also not doing that great. It's not the problem. The biggest problem with these products is that obviously launching in a bear market. I think that's the biggest problem. If we're in a bull market, the stuff would have flourished. But we are learning lessons as well, right? And I think the key lesson that we're learning right now is that not everything should pump, because in a bull run, everything pumped. And we're starting to learn the lessons that not everything should pump. And right now, I'm telling you, the bar is extremely high for projects. I mean, I've only recently started looking at other projects, because my focus was mainly Pulsechain, right? And now there hasn't been any much new stuff happening. So I've been looking at other projects that are launching. And some projects, if they had launched like just 8 months ago, they would have raised massive amounts of money. They would have had in crazy valuations. They would have exploded, done 1,000x, 10,000x. But the fact that it's right now, the bar is so high, right? I mean, the requirements, you need a great community, great technology, great marketing. You need everything's got to be top notch right now for a project to win. And in fact, in regards to Dogechain, it's actually surprising that why it hasn't done great. It was supposed to do great, but it's simply not. And even if you look at the Ethereum proof of work, the growth is pretty slow. 4 million 24-hour trading volume is not much in the crypto space. It's just not much. I mean, yeah, it's just not much. I mean, Uniswap itself has a billion, got all sorts of applications built on Ethereum. So the fact the bar is high for new projects right now. And in fact, if you think that the best that anyone can implement is right now, obviously DCA into those projects that already have good product market fit. Those are the ones that you want to get into. Yeah, any new airdrops on Pulsechain? I absolutely don't know right now. I don't know. I don't know if there's any new airdrops that are coming. And I will say this, a little bit of a controversial opinion. I'm not that big into airdrops. I'm really big into finding those gems. Right now, the reason why I'm not so big into airdrops is in many cases they involve you have to connect your wallet to something to approve something, and those are the kind of actions that I don't really like partaking in. I mean, I'm sure most airdrops are good, and they're kind of endorsed by hexicans, vetted by hexicans, and all that. But yeah, the fact that you have to connect wallet and all that stuff, I'm not a big fan of it. Okay, I think I missed a few, but anyway, let's go here. How long have you been in crypto? I've been in crypto for a long time. I think I got I heard about crypto first earlier, like in 2011, from Max Kaiser, talking about Bitcoin on his show on RT, right? And it just felt so complex to me. I never really got into it. It was just they used to just talk about, okay, this digital gold, what, and it just so it just passed through my mind, right? And then 2017, that's when I started to get into it deeply, because obviously early 2017, the price of Bitcoin was below $1,000. And I just started tracking the price daily. And when I was tracking the price daily, I would see, I would go to sleep and I would know guaranteed tomorrow the price is going to be higher. And so when that started to happen, it just got me excited. So 2017 up to now, that's 5 years. Yeah. So I've been in crypto 5 years, right? And in crypto years, that's like, yeah, that's a lot, because crypto has existed since 2009. That's when Bitcoin, right? And so 2009, that's like 13 years ago. And so 5 years ago, so I'm in for 5 years. So that means that, yeah, that I'm sure that pretty much makes me an OG. Yeah, plus crypto years are like they're like yeah they're like a lot more. When Pulsechain launches, at what ratio is it good to trade PLSX to PLS? Yeah, that's a difficult one. That's a difficult one. That one needs a little bit of calculations, but I would say I think 1:2 is good. 1:2 is, I think that's a good ratio. I think even 1:3, that I think that's a good ratio. And yeah, and what I don't like is once it gets into speculation territory, right? Once it gets into gambling, that's when I just don't think it's a good idea. You're better. You need to get in when you know you're going to make money. When you know, yeah, when you know you're going to make money. Is there something you miss in Pulsechain ecosystem besides fiat on ramp? Okay, yeah. PS on ramp is a good one. What else is missing? I don't know. I don't know. I think if you were to ask me what I think would in a perfect world, I think that I think what would be great is good relationships with other projects. I think that would be great. Other blockchains. So obviously we have a bridge, but I would say like having cordial, good relations with other projects, because obviously there is certain yeah. So will that help in regards to price? I don't know, but I think that that will be helpful to make the ecosystem a little bit more open, and to be able to have developers, move across and build for Pulse. But the thing is this, right? The opportunity for Pulse is huge for anyone who wants to build. Mostly, it's extremely huge, because if you look at even if you look at the amount of money that a lot of projects building for Hex raised, and then you look at what's happening in the rest of the market, it shows you that there's massive passion, a huge community. So I do think that there's a lot of opportunity for builders. I think that, yeah, I think that that would help. Fiat on ramp is the best. Once you have a fiat on ramp, you can have a complete vertically aligned ecosystem, right? But in terms of exchanges, right, like building an exchange, Richard Hart wants to build, he's talking about building an exchange, which I think is a critical piece of infrastructure. But building these relationships allows us to piggyback the success of Coinbase, to piggyback off of the success of Binance, to piggyback off of the success of other projects in the space, and which is something that I don't think we do enough of right now as it is. But despite saying anything you might say, I think that the success of Hex speaks for itself, because a lot of projects that have all those support systems, a lot of projects that are not gate kept, so a lot of those projects are not doing as well as Hex is doing. So it's one of those things that you have to ask yourself this question, right? Can you actually do better, right? Is it possible to create a better product? And the truth of that is there's no way to know. There's no way to know if there's a way to create a better product. But I do think that we're at a very pivotal time, and right now is a time for, if you're in a project that has good product market fit and you know it's going to do well, we're in a great time. And I was looking at the news this week and talking about some of there was what is it, Bank de France, something like that, to France, where Jay Powell, Christine Lagarde, and some regulators were talking. And it seems like, for example, regulation in the European Union seems to be coming. And I think, what's his name, Crypto Bureau did a video about it, talking about regulation which coming in Europe, which seems that it's going to be very fair and good. And so once you have all of that regulatory clarity, good product market fit, and then we're hitting the market with Pulsechain, I think the gains could be huge. The gains could be huge. Buy when the liquidity is low, and that's Hex and Hedron on ETHW. I know it's scary to put money into it, but the upside will be insane if it blows up. Yeah, Obviously, everything always depends with your investment thesis and how much you're putting into it and which one. I think anyone investing, right? There's obviously your top blue chips, your top really hodl portfolio, never touch it, coins that are going to do well no matter what, right? They're those coins. And then there are some coins that are a little bit, speculative, but they can pump even harder. And then there's the high risk play where you just do whatever you want. You YOLO, right? You YOLO, you DJing into those projects. So it depends which part of your portfolio would you allocate to Hex on ETHW. Which part would you do that? I would say that the right now ETH on Hex on ETH that's the blue chip play. That's what I would say. That's the blue chip play. As a developer, where would you want to focus on in crypto? Well, the good thing about Pulsechain is that if a developer is building for Pulsechain, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to create some groundbreaking stuff. Just create what works on Ethereum. That's the starting point. Then because obviously the blockchain has to catch up, right? We have to catch up with Ethereum because we're starting a new blockchain. Yes, we're forking the entire system state, but essentially we are not forking the builders, right? Some of the builders will come on, some will not. The code, we're forking the entire system, so the code in most cases will work. But I think that bringing the blockchain at par with Ethereum is the first step. Then the second step is to start innovating. So for building at par with Ethereum, you obviously need the same thing. You need PulseX, you need Aave fork, you need things like PulsePort, right? That's the for yeah. You need decentralized finance, right? You need Aave, you need lending, borrowing protocols, right? You need stable coins. You need all of that stuff. So there's massive NFTs, right? All that stuff. What's your thought on this upcoming recession? Will it last throughout 2023? Yeah. Well, that's a complex question, right? That's a complex question, which is it's really difficult to predict. It's difficult to predict. I think I'm looking at where we are right now and say, okay, like the market is about to flip. That's how I'm looking at it. And I think that, that's what I think. I think that the Federal Reserve and the ECB and all these other, they will deal with inflation, and then we can start to go to they'll switch on the money printers and we'll start going back to the moon soon. So about a recession, I don't know if I'm completely sold on us having a recession. It depends, right? Are we going to have some hardships in certain markets? Probably. The real estate prices, are they going to go down? Probably. But I think the market should start to turn. In terms of crypto, I think the market should start to turn. Hedron, multi-billionaire on ETHW. That's awesome. Played it. Pulsechain looking a lot less interesting after ETH 2.0 came out. Richard Hart was too slow on releasing. Yeah, played it. How are you doing? I remember you had a different. What's this picture? Right? What happened? Yeah, ETH. Look, I do think that it does impact. Yeah, it does impact. The launch of ETH 2.0 before Pulsechain does have an impact, and it does take out a little bit of the juice. But the project is still massive. It's still huge. There's still a lot of excitement, right? There's still a lot of people want to build around it. There's still a strong, passionate community. That stuff is not going anywhere. I don't think it is. But I also, it would be remiss to say that definitely sentiment in the community is not as good. It's not as good as it was before. And could it be better? It probably could be better as well. Yeah. So it's look, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I do think that the gains are still there and they're still coming. And what we can get, right? If we can get, if there's any, because obviously after sacrificing, I think at this point, the first sacrifice was towards the end of last year. So I think we're almost a year in. So there's a lot of people with itchy fingers want to sell. So we might have a massive volatility soon after launch. And so hopefully we can wash out a lot of the weekends, those want to dump pretty quickly, and then we can start having good price performance over time, and we start building from there. Yeah. Coin Critic, sub. First time I've caught a live. Good choice. Thank you very much. Visitor, did you take a look at Pulse Doge coin? Well, yes, I not in depth. I do know that there's lots of passion in the PLSD community, And so I do know that. I think that's price performance. I don't know. I haven't looked at the price, and I don't know what the market cap is right now. But yeah, look, the whole Pulsechain ecosystem, I think, is great of altcoins that are not outside of Richard Hart coins. I think that there's a lot of value there, and the potential of price performance there is huge. In some cases, it's bigger than the Richard Hart ecosystem. However, the risk is that much greater, right? So that's what you need to be thinking about. You're looking at any other layer ones that are coming out up to. So I don't know which layer ones these are, and I'm not looking at any other layer ones right now, especially coming out. Right, I think we've got a wide variety of them already. We've got Cardano, Solana, all these other things. I think if I was to look for other investments to get into, I'll be looking for some of the ecosystem coins. If I'm looking at other coins that are not, I don't think I'll be looking at layer ones. I think for layer ones, we're starting to get into that territory where it's extremely hard to launch a successful layer one, right? Dogechain doesn't look like it's going anywhere. ETHW, same thing. But I'll keep tracking them because that might change, right? ETH doesn't seem to be going anywhere as well. Now we've got some coins that were doing really well before, but now it seems like they are not. Like Cardano, I heard a lot of people talking about it during the bull run, but now I haven't heard anything about it. No one talks about the price. No one talks about knowing really. I think it's extremely difficult. The market is kind of saturated. The market is kind of saturated right now, and it will obviously continue to get harder and harder to launch a layer one that becomes successful. And another thing is this: if you look at these layer ones, right? Look at Cardano. They did their ICO in 2017, right? They only launched smart contracts last year. That's about 4 years. Look at Solana, right? How many years it took for Solana to come to go live? And after that, Solana still has some outages, right? Look at Polkadot. How long did they take to come to market? A really, really, really long time. So I think I'm not too bullish on layer ones. I think the ones we have are enough. I think Pulsechain is probably it might be the last one to do well. Obviously, that could change, right? I could change my mind anytime if I see some new information. But for now, that's what I think. I'm bullish on ETHW and ETH because everyone is bearish on it. I am trading opposite of emotions. Well, okay, Ivan. There are things that you need for a cryptocurrency to be successful, right? You need community. You need developers building on it. And and you've got to have... So it's good to be contrarian, right? But you have to be contrarian and you have to be seeing growth in some of the numbers. For example, Hex stakers are growing daily, right? So you can say there's growth. So despite the fact that you hear all these attacks, the number of people actually getting in the ecosystem are growing on a daily basis. So you can take a look at those points. I don't know if you can take a look at Richard Hart when he started his sacrifice, the first sacrifice. Do those metrics translate to Pulsechain? I think so. So you can see some traits of success, and I don't know if you see those traits for ETHW. Now we did look at the trading volume; it's up. Like last week in the live stream, last Sunday, right? There were about 2.5 million in 24-hour volume on chain, and today it's 4.5 million for ETHW. So that's growing. I'll take a look at their Twitter to track to see if it's growing as well. But if for you to be contrarian, you have to also see some points that are pointing towards success for ETHW. And my biggest flaw with ETHW is the fact that the ETH guys can dump. That's my biggest issue with ETHW, that they can dump. So what do you think of Polkadot? I like Polkadot. I don't see much. I don't see much about people building on it and things like that. So that's the issue. I do understand parachains and all that, Kusama, all that stuff. What's going on with Kusama there? So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, mixed, aka just all awesome stuff. There's a take that Kiss of Death has been initiated for stocks, which could see a 50% downturn after a couple of months relief. What's your take on the Hex ecosystem if that happens? Look, if stocks dump, Bitcoin dumps, and Hex dumps too. Right? Yeah, there's no way we can't run away from the current market sentiment. We can't run away from that. But if we do see that for example, if Hex is to go down to, let's say, 1 cent, that's probably not going to last long. So that would be a good opportunity to start buying the dip. What question would you ask Richard Hart? What would you ask Richard Hart when you get the chance? Let me think. That's a little bit of that's a difficult one. What would I ask him? Possibly, I would ask about his vision for what he would like to see Pulsechain look like in 10 years time, or maybe 10 years time, maybe 5 years, 10 years time, 15 years, and 20 years time, what he would like to see it look like. And obviously the things that he wants to see being built on Pulsechain, and possibly some questions about the world in general, right? Because obviously those two have an impact on what happens with Pulsechain. So I think I would ask those questions, and possibly some questions as well of some question like what could we do better? What can the community do better to build, right? What can I do better to build a YouTube channel? Maybe some outrage marketing. I could get some rollies. So yeah, I think I would ask something along those lines. Yeah. But obviously, I think what does he want? I think he wants world domination. He definitely cares a lot about what is that longevity stuff. But for me, I'm not big into the longevity stuff yet. I think I want to put some longevity in the bank account first. Then we can do some longevity stuff after that. So yeah, that's why I think that I think his answer will be something to do with longevity and maybe crypto, a more free, open world. Yeah, but But I think the best way to learn from him is probably not to ask questions, but to see how he acts and how he moves. I think that's the best way to learn from him. Yeah. I think that's the best way to learn from him. There's a lot of things like in regards to one of the things that I'm learning is that sometimes the things that seem like they should be right are not right, and the right things are the things that don't seem like they're right. And so yeah, those are some serious stuff. The person behind ETH is Justin Sun, and Tron did 100x in 3 months. So why not ETH? Okay, there are some people in crypto who are hardcore. What can I use the word? What in it for personal gain? Now, there's nothing wrong with it being in it for personal gain. Tron, okay, before Binance Smart Chain became this huge player it is today, there was Tron. I'll tell you what my opinion is why Tron is not big anymore, why Tron did not become the number 2 most used blockchain, and why Binance Smart Chain is that today. I think it's because obviously the Tron price action was manipulated a lot. So when you had all the DeFi being built on Tron, all the yield farming happening on Tron, the price of Tron did not go up. So I think that the Tron guys just kept dumping all the good that the community was building, all the stuff that was happening there. They were just kept dumping on their heads, and it just didn't catch on. BNB, on the other hand, they didn't have the same negative externalities. That's why I think BNB became the big player that it is today. So in my view, Tron did great returns, but if you take a look at the price chart, I don't think it's as competitive as other price charts. So I think it could have done a lot better. And the fact that Binance Smart Chain overtook Tron is one of those that I think, in my personal opinion, I kind of blame Justin Sun for that. If you look at Binance Smart Chain, was a new player. Tron had been there, was already established, already had. Now there's still stuff going on Tron, but yeah, that's my opinion on it. So obviously, not financial advice, but yeah, that's my opinion. And it's one of those things as well that you find in crypto, right? Another thing is that, like, for example, what's his name? Sam Bankman-Fried, multi-billionaire, very smart guy. But if you look at the coins that he launches, the price performance is not great. And in those cases, I sometimes wonder, right? Because then you have founders who seem to be, who seem to want to take away all the value from all the projects that they launch. And so, yeah, so that, in my view, is obviously these are assumptions, right? Obviously, these are assumptions. I mean, why are these coins not pumping? Probably because people who have a lot of them are dumping. Right? I mean, why did Hex do extraordinarily well when other projects didn't? And when they had with no gatekeeping, with no support, those are the projects that no gatekeeping, that support from everyone in the ecosystem, but their coins did not do anywhere near as well as what Hex did. Right? If it's not pumping, it's most probably because the guys at the top are dumping. And obviously they create the tokenomics. So when they create tokenomics that puts them at a really huge advantage, and then they continue to take value out of the ecosystem, which in my view I don't think is great strategy. So yeah, with Tron, it's. Do you think Pulse will ever go below the lowest possible price of top stack of PLS? I doubt that very much. I think that's highly unlikely. That's highly unlikely. And if it were to happen, that would be. I think it's highly unlikely. Go beyond stack price. It's highly unlikely. But I do think that I think I've definitely had to, because my initial price predictions were huge, but that was back in the bull when the market was still in a bear market, but a large chunk of people still believed we're in a bull run, right? So they were still that. So at those points, the price predictions were much bigger than what I have right now. Right now, I don't think we're going to have the starting point, the start day one, day two, the first week, first month. I don't think the numbers that I thought before, I don't think we're going to have those numbers. I think we'll have much lower returns, but still, we're still going to be in kind of positive territory, right? So maybe, yeah. But will you go below SAC price? I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. So for people who make the most money on launch are definitely the Pulse PLS sacrifice set. Those are the ones that make the most money. And then Pulse X sacrifice set will also make money, but not as much as those that sacrifice for Pulse. Because obviously it was first, and the sacrifice had less dollar value amount getting in. So there's that. But in regards to Pulse X, the tokenomics look great, and the fact that Pulse X can generate income, I think that's great too. So lots of bullish stuff in regards to both Pulse and Pulse X. Yeah. But it's like some super exciting stuff. Super exciting stuff. Anyway, I think that's about it, guys. Thank you, guys. Before, just 1 minute. Yeah, let me take a look. Yeah, thank you, everyone for jumping in, and obviously big thanks to Jesse James. A weekend. I think I will enjoy a drink today on Jesse James. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again. Let me check if there's any new comments. PLX. When you mention SEC price, do you mean the base rate of? Yeah. That's what I mean. I mean the $1 10,000 points. So just $1. So if I was to do the metal, I mean $1 10,000 Pulse tokens. That's what I mean by sacrifice. I don't think we can go below that price. I think it's highly unlikely. Pulse Nature, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure please do subscribe. And please do subscribe. And I will be dropping some more content. I think tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be dropping some more content tomorrow. And thank you guys for watching. And I will see you again next time. Cheers.